There's a feeling you get when you sit down to edit a video. What you need is an expert co-editor with good taste and reliable judgment, and all the tools to make a video that looks and sounds good. You need Underlord. It's your AI co-editor, ready to handle any job on any video. Just describe what you want to do. It'll make a plan and get after it. It can edit to maximize engagement, control the pacing, cover clumsy edits, and do anything else you need because it's built right into Descript. With Underlord at your side, you can make any video you want and make it good. Never edit alone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Descript Season X. I'm Christiana, Community Manager here at Descript. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today's event is all about Underlord, our reborn AI co-editor. Underlord now has the skills, judgment, and taste it takes to make a good video, so you never have to edit alone again. Underlord is now on the loose in beta in Descript, and it's free to use while in beta. And today we are going to show you how to use it and how to get the most out of it. Here's what to expect for the next hour. Here's our agenda. So we'll kick things off by watching a little video all together, a screening, if you will, where our in-house video pro, Ramdi, who you may know from our YouTube channel, puts Underlord to the test. Then I'm going to bring up our VP of product, Laura, for a live Underlord demo. She's going to walk us through some top Underlord workflows. And then we'll do Q&A for the vast majority of today's event. We'll have some folks joining us backstage, and we'll answer some text questions from the chat with Laura and our engineering manager, Rachel. So that means, folks, for all of you watching at home or wherever you are, please use whatever chat you're watching this in, YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn, and send us your questions as we go. We have Descript team members hanging out in all of the chats, and we'll make sure we get your questions answered today. I think that is all of our housekeeping. So let's watch this video. Tell us where you're tuning in from first in the chat, and a little bit about what you're making with Descript. All right, let's watch this video. See you in a bit.
With an all-new agentic version of our AI assistant, Underlord. Just imagine that you have an assistant editor who is an expert in Descript, hanging out in a chat sidebar at all times. You can ask them to do
assistant editor, huh? Yeah, we'll see about that. Hello, Underlord. You know, you got quite the reputation around here. Everybody's talking about you. Okay. Well, I just filmed a video on sound design that I still have to edit. Lots of mistakes, lots of retakes. Think you can do a rough cut of this for me? How did you finish already? This would have taken me so much longer. I hate doing rough cuts. Well, okay, can you add in some B-roll? Oh yeah. Can you add some cartoon sound effects?
my background here with the
Add some background music you think fits with the vibe. Fix the pacing a little bit. It feels kind of slow. I feel like I'm missing something. What do you think?
I guess it all started when I was 9.
You have some cool speakers.
I don't know where this is. I want people to know me. I'm kind of rambling here. Can you bring it back to the main point? Can you throw in my screen recordings and add some sound effects? Can you optimize this for social media? Oh my God, I think I'm actually done. This would have taken me like a whole day on my own, and I actually had fun. I haven't had fun editing in years. Just sitting here, grinding for hours, all alone. Can we make another one? good. It's good. You want some? It's a little burnt, but still good.
Aw man, you guys are hanging out without me?
Dude, how many times have I told you to stop interrupting my movies?
Oh, you're right, dude. My bad. Can I have some popcorn?
Oh, I was muted. Now I'm not. Ramdy, if you're out there watching, you never cease to amaze us. The Ramdy fan club is going strong. I have to pull up this comment from that YouTube. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Ramdy needs his own show. That was from Valerie on YouTube. Ramdy basically does have his own show on our YouTube channel. So check out all of his videos if you haven't already. Okay, great. Thanks for watching, everyone. I loved checking out the chat as we did that. And now it's time to bring up Laura, our VP of Product, for a live demo. Laura, I'm bringing you on stage. Welcome. How's it going?
Hey, going well. I'm in our studio in our San Francisco office.
Looks great. I like the purple background. Oh,
Me
there's
too.
many backgrounds back there. Very cool. Laura, thank you for joining us today. I was reflecting, it was last summer in June when we first released Underlord. Important Laura lore is you are Laura lore is that you named Underlord. So you've really been here from the start. Can you just like place us in context? Like, what is this moment? Like Underlord as agent, what does this feel like to you?
Yeah, when we dreamed of Underlord like a year ago, and actually when we named Underlord, right, the whole idea was that nobody wants an AI overlord, but couldn't you use an AI underlord that you could summon and help do the parts of video editing that you don't like doing yourself? And at the time, we were able to do that in some form. But there was a conversation of like, well, should this be a chatbot or should it be like a menu? Is it an entity or is it a magic wand? And I came down pretty strongly at the time a year ago on magic wand. And the reason was I hate it when something is dressed up like a chatbot, which kind of implies like, ask me anything, we can do anything. But then really it can do like 9 things and that's it. That's not a chatbot. That's like a phone tree and a trench coat. And I think like a lot of AI at the time was coming out and that's how it worked. And I'm like, I think like the UI handshake you want to make with users is like, yeah, I can do these things. These are the things that I do. Do you want to do other things? I'd love to hear about them, but I can't do them, right? We didn't have the technology that kind of made it an open world experience.
Yeah.
It was more like a platformer. And now, like a lot has changed in the world. And I think I'm probably going to be saying that every year for years. A lot has changed in the world and in terms of what's possible with AI, where now we're really able to give you Underlord the way that we like dreamed of it, which is, yeah, if you want to do those 28 things, you still can. And we still have AI tools and those are like workflows. Or if you want to talk to Underlord, like it can understand more complex asks or objectives where maybe you don't even know the tool that you want to use. You just have an objective for your content. Underlord can then think about like, okay, well, I know the tools that are at my disposal. I understand your objective now. Let me help you out. And so it's kind of those more complex tasks or objective-oriented asks that Underlord the entity kind of opens up.
It's very exciting. Cool. Well, that's the perfect segue for you to give us a demo and see some of those more complex tasks.
Yeah. So what I'm going to be demoing is 3 different content types and 3 different ways to work with Underlord. We're not working for Underlord yet. 3 different ways to work with Underlord.
Legal comes on screen. She's kidding.
And no, and I think like the reason why I want to show 3 different ways to work with Underlord is I think like I'm reading the chat and we have some people who are like, I identify as a creative. I have my own YouTube channel. I'm an expert video editor. And the way that you use Underlord is going to be very different than how I see other people in the chat who are like, I'm a full-time teacher. I make videos on the side. I feel kind of uncomfortable doing video editing. And Descript has always tried to be a product for every kind of video maker, no matter where you are on your expertise like journey. And Underlord should be something that works with you no matter where you are in your video editing journey. So the first thing so the 3 content types I'm going to show you, like editing, like a basic talking head video, creating video from slides, which like for folks working in an office right now, watching from your office, that one's for you. And then I'm going to show how to make some social clips from a podcast, but not from a video podcast. I'm going to show how to make social clips from an audio podcast. I hear from our audio podcasters that they don't get enough love at these events. So this one's for you, audio podcasters.
I love that.
Started. I'll
Cool.
share my screen. And unfortunately, it looks like audio isn't going to work because I need to share my whole window. And there's something about how audio only works if it's tabs. So here goes nothing.
Cool.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep. We see Google.
Awesome. Well, now you see Descript. And the first thing I'm going to do is open up my talking head video. Let's get started with a new composition. I'll drag my video in, and here it is. But usually the videos I make are closer to 3 minutes. So the first thing I'm going to ask Underlord to do is, can we cut this down to about 3 minutes? This is exactly the kind of thing that like I wasn't able to do with AI tools, where I could say like, I want to edit this for clarity, or I want to edit out filler words. But like sometimes that's not what the editing job is. The editing job is like, I have 6 minutes of tape and I want 3 minutes of tape. Yep. And so Underlord can make a plan for how it will get to that 3 minutes. Now, while it's doing that, this is going to be like a cooking show where I have different cakes baking in the oven.
Perfect.
While I'm doing that, I'm going to introduce you guys to a different way to work with Underlord. So this is kind of like where we're vibing and iterating together, kind of step by step. But we also have this like 0 to 1, get me into a fully edited version of my content ASAP. And for that, I'm going to show you turn slides into video. And I want to shout out Kelly and Trevor and Adrian, who worked tirelessly on sort of QEing these templates. You can see that like the way that it works is it actually describes the context and the workflow that it wants the agent to do all at once. And it took them a while to get into this. Okay, so it's asking me to upload my PDF of my slides. This is my Friends Works orientation slide deck that they show to new people when they join. What if instead of being a slide deck that they gave to new people who join, it could be a fun video instead? Here you go. All right, let's get Underlord. Let's make sure that it doesn't have any questions. All right, it's going to start turning my slides into narrative video. And so those templates are really great, but what if you want to create your own template? Like, for example, we have this create social clips template, but it kind of assumes that you have a video that you're trying to create social clips from. Mm-hmm. What if you're an audio podcaster? That's a really great use case for kind of iterating into your own template. And so that's what I've been trying to do. What I did is I just copied this big long thing, put it over here in this Google Doc, and I'm just like iterating on it. I'm trying stuff out, seeing if I like it, and I'm still only about halfway through, but I'm going to copy. I'm going to go into my podcast here. This is my rough cut, and I'm going to say, all right, I want you to do all of this.
So that was like a prompt that you've been cooking up and you just have saved in a Google Doc.
That's right. So I took, as like a foundational thing, I took Kelly, Trevor, and Adrian's create social clips, because I'm like, these people have been doing this for a few weeks. They're like definitely further along on the journey than I am. What I'm going to do is just change it so that it matches my workflow. So for example, hang on, let me answer its questions. What aspect ratio do you want for your clips? And do you have a specific number in mind? Portrait, 3 clips, 15 seconds. And then I've also asked it to ask me for my brand colors. Great. Do you have any brand colors? You can use color names, hex codes, or upload a screenshot. And actually, my co-host has created like art for our podcast. So I'm like, just use the colors in this logo. All right, let's set that cake in the oven. Does it have any other questions for me? So what I did is I took Kelly's initial template, and like she had like used the Descript branded Helsinki blueberry like layout pack, but I actually like have my own podcast layout pack where like do folks know about remixing layout packs, by the way? I'm obsessed with this feature. It has made using layouts like so amazing for me. Just like very quickly show you, you can go in here and click this, And that lets you remix like a Descript layout pack and say like, actually, these are my primary colors. These are my fonts. Like, anyways, that's not what I'm supposed to be demoing, but I just
No,
think of it.
you're allowed to shill any feature you want right now.
Yeah. So, okay, great. While I'm shouting things out, do you see the gorgeous eye contact I'm making here with my camera? That's not our AI eye contact feature. That is the beauty of teleprompter. Thank God for teleprompter. If you don't know about teleprompter, when you click record now, we got one. So gotta give that some love too.
Love it.
Okay. So basically I was telling it like use my remixed branded social clips. Okay. So that's okay. So okay, we've got Red Haven Industries here, we've got my video here, and we've got my clips here. Let's go back to my video. So it's now gotten it down to 3 minutes and 18 seconds. That's probably good enough, but now I have all these jump cuts. So what I'm going to do is ask it to hide jump cuts with zooms. And to show you how this works, I'm going to pop open the timeline, but I'm going to change it. This is like usually you have it in this duration kind of timeline. We have this thing called storyboard view, and that like does what the old scene rail did, where it shows you all of your different scenes at the same time. You can see that I just have one scene right now, but as we hide jump cuts with zooms, what Underlord is going to do is start putting in scene markers every time there's a jump cut and changing the zoom so that it will automatically hide those jump cuts. So like, and I can change the cropping to make it like look just right. And so that's pretty nice, but you'll notice that like actually it does like a little zoom, and sometimes people like that stylistically, but other times people like more of a punch in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say remove all transitions. And that's going to go through and remove those smart transitions that automatically like kind of animate the zooms.
Nice.
This is exactly the kind of thing that I love Descript. I've been using Descript for years. I hate doing in Descript, and really any video editor, because it means I got to go into like each one of these little babies and be like, edit transition, remove transition, just click, 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 click. And now I'm just like, remove all the transitions. And it's like, cool, I've got that. I can say, turn all the transitions to star wipes if I want to. And so like, that's just the kind of bulk action that's so nice. Let's go to Red Haven Industries and see how things are going.
Cool.
Okay, so this looks pretty good, but it's kind of boring right now. So I think I'm going to add an avatar of like a corporate looking guy.
So many of those live in the Descript app. So many corporate looking guys.
That guy looks nice and corporate. Look, he's wearing a tie. I think that's what that means.
Yep.
Okay, so now I have an avatar. I'm not going to generate that yet. Remember, you should always generate your avatars after you're done with your editing. But what I am going to do is translate this into German. They're going to like open a German office soon and dub it. And Underlord will start working on that, creating the translation. How are my little... Okay, great. Oh, all right. While that's getting the AI speech generated, how are we doing on my clips? So the thing that I asked it to do was create vertical clips and to use an audiogram for most of it, but then for interesting pieces, interesting clauses, to generate an image based on my brand colors and style. And I asked it to do a flat illustration style. So I can go into here and see where it is, how it's doing on that.
Cool. Looks great.
So I like that. I think one thing that I want to do is probably just go in, copy my caption style and just like paste it above the illustrations, because I think that'll look even nicer. Yeah. So that's looking really good. Okay, so I think, I don't know, would you call that a good demo, Christiana?
I loved your demo. It's awesome. And I love the audio only love
Yeah.
for folks. Now we're seeing your restream window.
Oh no, I should probably stop sharing my computer, huh?
Perfect. It was like 13 of us. No, that was awesome. Thank you, Laura, so much. And I liked that a lot of those things, like when you were talking about bulk editing transitions and things like that. Like, as you said in the beginning, that's something that a newer video editor would benefit from because they don't know how to add transitions, or a pro who just doesn't want to have to do all that manual stuff. So, yeah, I really liked what you picked to show us. Thank you so much for doing that. And then before we jump into Q&A and bring Rachel up, I just want to emphasize that this is still in beta, right, Laura? So this is your moment. Product boss, what do you want folks to kick the tires on? What any sort of guide while Underlord is still in beta that we can give to folks?
Yeah, that's a great point. So I actually just want to mention a couple things, and I'm going to reshare, but just a tab now.
Cool.
Like, the first thing that I want to say is this little guy here, I thankfully didn't have to do it in the demo, but please know that I use this often. This is rollback. You might think like, oh, if Underlord starts doing something that I don't like, should I just like, undo? And undo will work, but I actually like highly recommend that you instead roll back, because what rollback will do is it will undo all of the changes, and it'll just make your, if you have that freak out moment, like, oh God, it did something horrible, just like press roll back and you're back to before you made that request of Underlord. So I want to make sure people know about rollback. And the other thing is sometimes you start watching things go awry. And this, like if I say like, add some generated B-roll to spice things up, it'll start working. And I may just start to see like, oh, I really don't like the style of B-roll that it's adding. And I can always press stop and just make it stop doing that. So those are two things like you should always know about working with Underlord, but especially while it's in beta, I just want to like reassure people that you have control here. You can stop Underlord from doing stuff and you can roll back to before you asked it to do something. But I think like more than kind of telling people like, oh, don't worry, like the mistakes are recoverable, what I really want to do is emphasize like, building that template, like that audio template, or like all of the templates that exist right now on Home, those are like created by people who make content and love creating content and are trying to make something cool and beautiful and share it with people. And like I'm right now talking to a community of people that fit that description. And so I think like as we're building this, it'll be really fun to see how other people are using it. For example, like earlier when I was working on this, I was like, oh, can you create like a fun futuristic overlay, put it at 20% opacity and like stretch it across my entire project? And it actually did that, which I wasn't expecting and I'd never tried before. So I think just like it's in beta, not even the people who built this thing know all of the things that it's capable of or all of the use cases that we'll find for it. So if you find a really cool way that you're using it, I would say like share that in the Discord, and share your like mega prompts that are helpful in automating things. And it's just, I would say like, I really look forward to building this with all of you.
Awesome. Cool. And that's a perfect segue also to shout out all of our beta testers that were with us day one on this thing. We had a group of users called the A team that got early access to Underlord and just have been kicking the tires since then. So shout out to all of you. I see some of you in the chat. And we'll have some joining us on screen. So let's jump into this Q&A. I'm going to bring up the amazing Rachel to join us. Hello, Rachel, engineering manager. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I've been working really closely with Laura over the last 8 or so months, and just even seeing her demoing and her workflows of how she's using Underlord is really exciting and inspiring.
It's pretty awesome. And before we grab some questions, I just wanted to show this to both of you. This came through the chat as we were watching the demo earlier. Anyone who hasn't used Underlord yet, I can say I've been using it every day for 2 months and it works very well. I use it for editing 60 minutes plus daily live videos. I've been producing 4 times as much content. It's pretty awesome to see. So just want to...
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, wanted to give you guys a little piece of joy before we do these questions. So
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, but let's jump into this Q&A. All right. First, I'm going to bring up a friend from backstage to answer a question live. Daniel, I'm going to bring you up first. Welcome to the stage. How's it going?
Good. Thanks, Christiana. So I'm Daniel Green, Enterprise AI Implementation Trainer and the chapter lead for AI Collective Kansas City. I help teams adopt AI tools like Descript to work smarter and faster. What's the best way for users to quickly understand what Underlord does best, what's still being improved, and what isn't, quite ready for mainstream without having to learn by trial and error?
Great question.
Yeah,
Laura?
so the first thing that I would say is that's one of the reasons why we created like templates and also like the suggested action pills that are in Underlord. Those are things that we've had like a team here using and battle testing and feeling good about the results. The other thing that you can do is look at our change log on, is it still on /Underlord, Christiana, or like our change log for
Yes.
because those have sample queries in them that are also queries that we've battle tested and that we do QA against. So those are like, yeah, we look at these every week and we feel like pretty good about them. Now, why do I only say pretty good? Is that like the standard of engineering that I hold myself to? What I'll say is like building with these new tools is so nutty because I'm sure like some of you are going to like sigh when you hear this word again, and others are going to be like, what does that mean? But they're non-deterministic. And so like most engineering for most of the time that it's existed, what I do is I say like, here is the requirement. And then like people build it. And then it works like that every single time. And if it ever doesn't work like that, it's because something is wrong. And it means I need to file a bug and say, investigate this because like something is up with the way that we built this. With non-deterministic stuff, you can get a great result 95 times and like a kind of weird one 5 times. And like, you feel pretty good about that, but you feel a little like what you do with the other 5% is sort of an unsolved problem right now. And so I do think like what I try to tell people is like, if you're on a deadline, now is probably not the time to like fiddle around and fuss with like a brand new tool. I would fiddle around and fuss when you're like in a playful mode where you have a lot of time, and when you're on a deadline, stick to what's tried and true.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Daniel, and thanks for being a member of the community. I see you in our Discord, and yeah, education around AI, very important. So hit Daniel up. Thanks for being here. Okay, cool. I'm going to throw a text question at you guys next, and then I'm going to bring Trish up on stage, but text question first. Okay, so we've talked a lot about Underlord being in beta, and I've seen this question a couple times in the chat. Is there a planned release from beta that you can share about Underlord, or could either of you just fill us in on the timeline and maybe what progress milestones we have to hit before it's generally released?
This one is pretty hard to answer. I think Laura alluded to this, talking about the non-determinism problem. But building with LLMs, it's really hard to know when something's going to be good enough. I've already seen so many use cases where people are seeing their workflow transformed by using Underlord, and then other use cases that seem like they should be really obviously supported that aren't supported yet because we haven't built the capability. So I will say that as we move forward and try to improve Underlord to get our little guy out of beta, it's really hard to say like when exactly that will happen. Anything you'd add, Laura?
The only thing that I would add is like, okay, we've talked about some of like the bummers that come with non-deterministic stuff. So let me just also mention like some cool stuff that happens, which is this other fun buzzword, but that has been like this beautiful thing in my life called emergence. And it means like when something's deterministic, that means that like I, the product manager, am like, these are the 6 things that it's going to do. And if like there's a secret off-label 7th, that happens like very occasionally where you're like, oh, you know, people are using your feature this way. And you're like, oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. And that happens like very occasionally. When you're building AI products like this, that's the majority of the value, is stuff that you never thought people would be able to do with it. This and so what I'd say is like, play with this thing. And if you don't like what it can do, try it again in a month. Let me tell you something that like didn't work for me last night, but like I bet is going to work for me in like 1 to 2 months. And that is, I had my little slides for Red Haven and I was like, just on a flyer, hey, could you like regenerate the slide images, but like do it in German? So the whole thing would be in German, not just the voice. And it was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely do that for you. And then it created a bunch of like very lovely looking slides that were in like some kind of language that was neither English nor German nor ever spoken by a human tongue. And I was like, okay, so definitely that's a no. We can't do that. But it's like close. And I'm like, maybe just like trying a different image gen model would have gotten me like that. And I just didn't know that because I had never thought to ask it that before. So that's the kind of like cool stuff where it's like, even if you don't see a prompt, like saying the thing that you want to do, you should at least try it when you're in like playful non-deadline mode and see what it can do.
Totally. Awesome. Cool. Okay, now I'm going to bring a friend on stage. Trish, I'm going to bring you up. Hi, welcome. Oh, I don't think we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I guess my question was just, what prompts can you feed Underlord other than the ones that already like kind of pop up on that little box? Like, do you guys have a list of them somewhere, or you can literally just play with it?
So one of the principles that we've been operating with as we built Underlord is that we want it to feel truly open world, which means we want you to be able to ask Underlord to do anything related to video and audio editing. Obviously, we know that there are some gaps that Underlord just can't do some things yet, but the intent is for you to be able to truly do anything you want, which means I think to Laura's point that she mentioned earlier, I would definitely encourage exploration if you have, if you don't have a deadline, if you have some time to be creative, like if there's something you want, try it out and you might be really surprised by the outcomes. That said, if you want like some of the prompts that are tried and true, battle tested, the ones that show up in the chat, the ones that show up on home, and then the ones in our changelog are ones that we've definitely validated that they work.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'd say is
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, we have a team here, and I bet they're all slacking each other right now as they listen to this. And like what they're doing is building out the templates feature. And they're trying to build out many, many more templates. And they're also going to build out a way for you to create a template, save it, and share it. And I think like that will also help us like learn as a community together, like
Totally.
what this thing is capable of.
Okay, and so Underlord is not like ChatGPT that like learns your things, your stuff. It's not like that, right? Like it's not gonna remember my like audience or something like that.
Right now, it does not.
I'm in between the lines. I'm hearing. Stay
That being
tuned.
said, what I will say is that when you start chatting with Underlord, everything you've told Underlord in that chat is preserved throughout the entire conversation. So if you start up front by giving key information on your audience, your future requests and questions and queries to Underlord should come through with something that is informed by whatever that additional information you provided was.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining us, Trish, and for posting about us on Instagram. That's how we got connected. I really appreciate all the work you're doing. So thanks for being here.
course. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Awesome. Cool. Okay, let's keep it going here. But really quick, I just want to, I'm seeing some folks talking in the chat about feature requests and how to sort of give feedback and talk about what they want. I feel like the best thing to plug is our Discord channel. Would you guys agree? We have a specific Underlord Discord channel where folks have been giving us feedback. We also post updates and ask people to try things out and things like that. So both Laura and Rachel hang out there, me as well. So yeah, we can keep this convo going over on Discord.
Yeah,
Anything
I'll
to add?
say, like, and Christiana, don't get mad at me, but like also, like, I'm on Twitter, so like you can find me there. I'm Birkenstocks with a U, and I'm pretty active and I love to talk to people that are using the product. So come find me. You can at me.
That would never make me mad, Laura, because if you don't answer the tweets, I do. So, and Laura knows a little bit more about Descript than me, believe it or not. She is the VP product. Okay, let's do some more questions here. Actually, Aaron, if you're ready, I'm going to bring you on stage. Aaron is a team member,
Yes.
frequent poster of Underlord and AI stuff, one of our faves. How are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing great, Christiana. Thanks for having me. Laura, great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again.
What can we do you for today?
Yeah, so I loved the non-deterministic and emergence explanations for us non-technical people. I'm just a teacher. I think the way that Underlord works versus the way people want it to work is the non-deterministic outcome you get by accident is actually the value of Underlord because it can show you things you wouldn't have thought of. And my experience initially was like, okay, take a long form podcast, take the clips, make them TikTok style. And I would love to know some best practices with like prompting. One issue I seem to have is it's just so over eager to add overlays and text, and things turn out to be too busy with that style of TikTok or Instagram Reels. So that's kind of my first question. Then my thought with how it actually works for the people in the audience, like, should I use this? If I find something cool that Underlord helped me vibe edit, is save that as a template instead of going back and trying to reinvent it through Underlord in the next video. Is go like, hey, that style and those captions and these text overlays it did, save that. And then the next time you want it to be fast, Underlord's not really a shortcut to just crank the content out. It's really a discovery tool is how it's worked best for me. But I'd love to know, maybe Laura, it's your expertise is like to get the TikTok, Instagram Reel clips. Have you seen any kind of prompting or ways to tone down the aggressiveness? Because that's an issue that I've seen.
Yeah. So the way that, so I'll say, like, I don't think it's perfect. Like, I'm not like, oh, you're just missing these 3 bullets and then it'll be perfect. But I'd say, like, the way that I talk to it, one of the things that helps is like, I kind of know the Underlord, or sorry, the Descript jargon. But so, like, one of the things I would try for that specific problem is I would say, like, please only use these layout types, camera, captions, text, or whatever, whatever, like the couple that you want. And it's like, don't add more than 1 scene per 15 seconds or whatever kind of your rule is. And you can see, like, when I did the audio clips one, I have stuff like that. Like, never use the camera layout. This is audio only, so the camera layout won't make sense. Apply the audiogram layout to every scene except for interesting clause scenes. Add interesting clause scenes about 2 to 3 times per clip. Find the interesting clauses in the sentence. Create a media scene around that clause and generate an image of that clause in a flat illustration style using my brand colors. It should not include text, just an illustration of an interesting clause. How did I know to write all of that stuff? By not writing it and seeing what it created and being like, no, don't use a camera layer. All right, let me just add that in. Never use a camera layer. And it's like, don't put text in the pictures. So kind of like, that's how I've iterated into some of the more like use it over and over again templates that I use.
Yeah, that's really good. So I think for me, hearing that, what I wrote down was I really need a framework. Like I should address the camera in the prompt, and I should address the captions, or don't have transitions or cuts more often than every so many seconds, and then just find that template and copy and paste that and fill it in. But I think the non-deterministic aspect of Underlord is actually what makes it cool, because it comes up with stuff I never would have thought of, either because I wasn't that creative, or if you're not a technical person, you wouldn't have thought to do the zoom in and then transition with the auto transitions. And I think saving those as templates has been the best up level and time saver for me. It's not Underlord itself. It's something I want to go back to and like, oh, I like that style for my podcast. Now in one click, I can get everything.
Yeah.
But I also just wanted to plug, I'm not a big Discord guy. I personally just don't like the app and the format. But the thing that really makes Descript awesome is you guys listening to the feedback and not just like tolerating it. You actually seek it out. I get emails saying, hey, could we do a feedback session? Or do you want to try a thing? So for the people on the fence about why Descript over some other tools we won't name, I've never seen a piece of software that has a company that's so inviting and welcoming and seeking out user feedback. And it's cool to see you guys adding stuff that we ask for, because we really feel valued. That's the main reason that I love Descript, not the technical stuff.
Wow. That's awesome. Thanks, Aaron. That's really kind.
Yes.
Laura?
And
I love to hear
we got to
that.
get more teachers using it. I'm at a teacher conference and they're walking by
Yeah.
making fun of me. They're like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just hopping on a live stream.
Yeah, at the start of your question, you said, I'm just a teacher. And the chat kind of lit up saying, no one is just a teacher. It is,
Just educating
Yes.
our youth.
So we really appreciate what you do. And I would love to get more teachers specifically on Descript. Anything to make educators' lives easier feels like very worthwhile. So
Yeah. And any of the teachers in the chat, if you guys have questions like how would I use this, shoot me a DM, look me up. My name is my handle on every platform, and Laura can tell you I tag you guys in tweets all the time, and I'm pretty hyperactive on social media. So just ask, and if I'm not the expert, there's a lot of people in this community that are always happy to help.
So true. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you guys.
Well, thanks, Aaron. Appreciate you as always.
Thank you, Aaron.
Have a good conference. Oh,
Thank you.
nice. Perfect walkout moment. See ya. Wow, that was pretty iconic of him. Okay, amazing. Well, those were all of our backstage guests. So now I'm just gonna sort of rapid fire some text questions your way, and then we'll close out, if that sounds good. Okay. This came up as we were chatting with our on-screen guests. Where can I learn all of the lingo that Underlord would understand? I think, and you can interpret this a few different ways. Maybe they mean Descript lingo, maybe it's AI-based lingo, but what would y'all say?
So the first thing I want to mention is, Laura mentioned that when she's building her prompt, she uses some of the terms that we use in the product to help Underlord. That being said, Underlord is pretty good at figuring out what you mean, even if you describe something, just semantically describing it without actually knowing the right word for it. So if you're not sure exactly what the thing is called that you want, just give it your best shot, describe it out, see if the prompt works, because I think maybe 7, 8 times out of 10, it's going to understand what you wanted. And if it doesn't, then you can try again with a little bit more specificity and you might get the outcome you're looking for. And then I think maybe Laura has some ideas of where to point folks towards for learning lingo. I think Learn Descript is the first thing that comes to mind for me, but curious if there's anything else.
Yeah, I think Learn Descript, but I also really want to reiterate what Rachel said, and then also say Underlord itself. So let's say that you finally do get something to work. You can say hey, can you explain to me what did you just do in the video that led to it doing that? And it might say something like, oh, I added a big quote layout to scene number 4. And you'll be like, got it. Now I know what to put in my template, or something like that. Yeah. So it's that's the other thing. I didn't demo this, but Underlord doesn't just run commands. Underlord is something that you can chat with. Like, let's say that you're like, I don't even want you to do anything, but can you explain to me how to add blur to, like, how to blur out PII in this video? It'll tell you like, oh, okay, yeah, let me just like, it connects into our like help center APIs, and it's like, yeah, let me explain to you how to do that. So you don't just need to ask it to do things. You can ask it how to do things. You can also say like, hey, I just did this, you know, slides to video thing, and it's okay, but it's like kind of boring. Like, what else could I do to jazz this up a little bit? And it'll be like, yeah, you could add music, you could add transitions, you could add some animated text during important parts. And then you're like, yeah, do all of that, right? So it can also help you when you have editors block.
Totally. Yes. Good call out. And I just want to plug really quickly as well, this blog post, I'm going to share my screen, from Ashley Hamer on my team, on our marketing team. She went and collected tips from, I think both of you maybe have some quotes in here, and a team members, so early Underlord users. This is like more like practical, like how to prompt, how to sort of get more, what type of language to use. So maybe my friend Trevor can drop this in the chat. I look at this a lot and it does really help me. So I'm going to plug that as well. Okay, and now I'll stop sharing. Sweet. Okay, it's a couple technical.
When in doubt, a lot of people are asking like, how do I talk to Underlord? How do I get Underlord? Like, when in doubt, pretend that you are talking to like someone in high school who doesn't really know how to, or like, yeah, who knows a little bit about video editing, but like doesn't know exactly what you want done. So you can use like regular language with them, but you may need to sometimes explain in a lot of detail exactly what you want. The more control you want over something, the more you may just need to be like, okay, let me like tell you exactly what I want. I also think like if you're okay with less control, then like Erin mentioned, it can be great to just like try something vague and, you know, see what happens.
Totally. Cool. Okay. Couple technical questions. So Rachel, looking at you perhaps. What training data is this built upon? Is it still OpenAI?
This is a great question. So actually our Underlord is using a number of different models for different parts of the editing process. And we're changing those out pretty frequently as well. So what we want to bring to you is like the best quality experience we can offer at any given time. So maybe that's an OpenAI model and maybe it's not. And it's going to probably continue to change as the models that are available in the market continue to change.
Yep.
Can I just riff on that for a second? This is one of the things that, again, like, so I used to build a different kind of product, and now I build AI products. And this is like one of the things that's so crazy. In the old world, a product would only ever get better if me and my team are like, okay, we are just going to like really sprint on this product and try to make it better. One of the things that's like crazy about building on foundational models like this is, you know, Anthropic can drop a new model tomorrow and like, holy crap, Underlord can just do things that it couldn't do 2 days ago, even though we haven't necessarily launched anything. We're always launching and making Underlord better, but like, it's kind of cool that just like an act of God can suddenly make Underlord like a lot better. And that's also why I say like, if you try something and you're like, Underlord, it didn't really do what I wanted, try again once you hear about a new model dropping or something like that. It just might be able to.
And then the last thing I'll add here is we do have a research team at Descript that works on a lot of different AI research efforts. And so at any given time, Underlord may be powered by work that's coming out of that team as well.
Awesome. Yes. Shout out to our AI research team. And just building on this, saw this a couple times in the chat. Is our content that is in Descript being used to train the AI?
So we have there's a data opt-in that users can do to provide their data for model training and research. And we are only ever using data that is consented to be used in an anonymized way for training models.
Love it. Cool. Thank you. I think That will totally satisfy some folks in the chat here that care about that. Cool. Okay. Love it. Let's keep going here. So Underlord is free now in beta. What happens after beta? Gotten this question a couple times. How are we thinking about pricing and all of that stuff?
So right now, one of the things that we're doing is, so it's like a brand new product, right? And we don't have like good knowledge of like how much do you need to talk to the agent to like get to something good. So like what we're doing now is we're trying to understand like, okay, to get to something good, like you need to use like this much agent brain power. And as we begin to understand that, that will help us be able to like fairly give based on like, oh, this person's a hobbyist. Hobbyists tend to make like this much stuff a month. Each one of those things probably takes like this much AI brain power. So let's like give that much to hobbyist. Like, okay, creators, they tend to make like way more content or use like way more AI brain power. So they're going to need like a different AI credit budget. So like what I'll say is like we do plan on like, you know, charging money for Underlord eventually, but like we've got to like better understand how to do that in a way that is going to make sense so that people get enough AI brain power for it to be useful for them. So like that's one of the things that we're looking at right now is like, oh, like Clips users really are going to need about this much AI brain power to be really successful. So we've got to make sure that like we're giving people at least this much or whatever.
Cool.
Beyond that, there's a couple other things I'll add about what's next for Underlord. So there's a number of efforts that are going on right now around improving the product experience for folks using Underlord, especially if you're new to Underlord. So some of the work around templates that Laura already mentioned, making sure that you have a really good library of starting prompts and ideas of where you can start if you're not sure. As well as some other product experiences that we want to build to make the interaction with Underlord more effective, so that you're able to get to the outcome you want the first try instead of needing to try something and then roll back and try something again. In addition to that, the team is working on a number of longer term efforts so that we can make sure that the quality of Underlord continues to go up, and also so that we can bring in more functionality and capabilities into Underlord. So for example, something that has come up a ton in feedback is I just want Underlord to make an edit from like this timestamp moment to this other timestamp moment. And Underlord isn't good at that. Underlord's great at working with scenes. It's great at working with specific layers in your project or specific tracks. But as soon as you ask it to do anything akin to timeline editing, it really struggles. And so there's a lot of capabilities like that that we want to be bringing into the product as well.
Awesome.
The other thing that I wanted to mention, as long as we're talking about pricing, is currently, do you guys know what the #1 piece of feedback we get about our avatars feature is? Hey, I need some more minutes. Can I just like buy some? And as we kind of like move forward, one of the things we're going to be able to offer is like, yes, you don't need to like go up in plan to get yourself a few more minutes of avatar or of agent kind of brain power. So that's like something that we're excited to build for people too.
Awesome. Cool. Okay, I wanted to grab this question about accessibility because I've seen it come up a couple times. It's from Jojo on YouTube. Does Underlord know about making videos accessible for persons with visual and hearing disabilities? Just curious what you guys think about that.
What I would say is like, so far we haven't taken this as a, like, we haven't prioritized this use case. But Jojo's not the only person to ask about this. Like I've heard that, like, so for example, visually impaired people, one of the things that you can do to better support them is like have like audio descriptions of things that are happening in a video. And this is the kind of thing where it's like, right now I would try that out because like I could understand it working. But of course, like making video accessible is one of those things where it's like, you kind of don't want to like half-ass it. Like it's very important to give people equal access to good information. So like I would want to try it out, but I want to be really upfront that we haven't like spent the time for me to say like, oh yeah, that's gonna work. Go ahead and slap that on, and it'll probably be good enough. Like that's not the attitude that I would want to take toward a capability like that.
Totally. Awesome. Okay. Cool. So we have just a couple minutes left. I'm going to grab this last question and then we can kind of close things out, and I'll turn it over to you guys with one last question. So someone said, if I sign up for Descript, is Underlord a separate subscription? Maybe you guys could just talk about how people can use this today.
Underlord is available to everyone on every plan. It will remain available to everyone in every plan, like going forward. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah, and so it's not a separate subscription at all. You should be able to access it on home, and you should be able to access it in a project. In the bottom right corner, you should see your friendly robot face, and that should open up the chat.
Love it. Cool. Okay, and then one last thing I forgot to bring up earlier. How does Underlord treat languages other than English, either being spoken to in those languages or doing actions in other languages?
I love this question. This is one of those really cool emergent behavior things Laura was talking about. So Underlord under the hood is using AI models that can understand a lot of different languages. So if English is not your first language, or you don't want to be interacting with Underlord in English, go for it. Like, talk to Underlord in whatever language you want. I can't guarantee that it's going to understand every language, but I think with a lot of the most common languages, it should do a pretty good job understanding what you're asking for and then doing something in your video content. That being said, I have some caveats. So if you're trying to create content in another language, Underlord might respond to you in that language. That might be a little confusing, but you can just ask it, hey, what does this say in English or in whatever your language of choice is? Similarly, I think if you're conversing in another language, Underlord might put that language into your content. And so it's just something to be aware of, that you might need to be a bit more specific about where you want that language used and where you don't.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
I saw a quick question in the chat that I want to answer. That's a little bit of a spoiler, but just like as long as we're getting people excited. Someone asked if you could generate video in Underlord, and my answer to that is like, not yet, but literally just wait like a very small amount of time. We'll be making an announcement about that soon.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, this has been a fun stream because a lot of things that people are bringing up are on the roadmap, like templates, prompt templates, generated video, lots of other cool stuff. So this has simply been a blast. Thank you both, Laura and Rachel, for being here and spending time with us today. Why is the QR code blocking you, Rachel? I'll bring it down in just a second. Like, jump.
I can grow.
Here we go. I just wanted to bring this up. If you're brand new, scan that QR code. It'll take you to our Underlord homepage and you can learn all about it. You'll see a place where you can sign up for Descript if you're brand new. We'd love to have you. This is like the most exciting time to get to talk about Descript, to get to teach Descript because of this thing. So I think it's a great time to be a new Descript user, just saying. But Laura and Rachel, while we have like 600 people watching this stream, anything you want to ask of folks as they go test this thing out? Any like last words of wisdom or anything like that?
I have one, which is every single interaction you have with Underlord, you'll be given an option to give a thumbs up or thumbs down and some qualitative feedback on what you did or did not like. You don't have to do it every time, but anytime you get something you're really, really happy with or really unhappy with, we love that input and feedback. It helps us make Underlord better.
Love it. Laura, anything from you?
Yeah, please share what you're making. Nothing makes me happier than when I see a video and I'm like, wait a minute, I think that's a Descript template.
Yeah.
So, you know, feed that insatiable desire in me. Show me your videos. I can't wait to see them.
Yes, big +1, whether it's on Twitter or LinkedIn or Discord or sending us an email, Give us your feedback. Wherever you are, we will find you. Don't feel like you have to jump into any new platform. But yeah, share what you're making, and we would really love to hear from you. I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat saying they're going to jump in, so that's awesome. And yeah, this was a blast. Thank you both for being here and for all of your hard work. And shout out to the team back at home, Descript team. We love you. Lots of team members in the chat today supporting. Thank you as always. And we'll see you all at the next stream. Have a good one.